Good morning, beautiful souls. How are you doing this morning? I think a lot of Queensland is very, very wet this morning. I don't know about you. Let us know if you've got sunshine because we have got a lot of rain. And I think Bribie Island, where I'm living, is going to get flooded in. I know a few of my friends in the hinterland are flooded in. And sometimes these circumstances create opportunities for us. And I wanted to share a little bit this morning about that because I'm actually running a training this morning for our inner tribe of beacons around problems, what we create as safe problems that come from limiting beliefs and this desire for our mind and our ego to want to stay safe and stay in our comfort zone. And these safe problems, limiting belief and our comfort zone throw up difficulties, right? Obstacles in our life that stop our soul self from being able to fully express through us, and therefore it limits our growth. So we have to decide once and for all, am I going to allow these obstacles to consistently and persistently show up in my life and hold me back? Or am I prepared to do the work to align with my soul self and be open and consistently and continuously lower the resistance to that which wants to expand through me? And that involves courage. It involves deep inner work to know what our resistance patterns are, what our safe problems are, what our limiting beliefs are, how our mind and body wants to try and keep us safe. We have to do that inner work. But then we also have to be awake and aware and ready to take those opportunities, right, at any time. Because believe me, and I know this to be true, that your soul self, through your desires and through your experiences in the world, is consistently rearranging and realigning the universe for you in order for you to have the maximum opportunities for your growth. And your job is to get our mind out the way enough and to be open enough and receptive enough and awake enough to be able to see those opportunities for what they are. And for our desire for growth and our desire for purpose in the world to outweigh our fears and our resistance so that we can show up. And I had a beautiful opportunity to practice this morning. Let me know if you totally get what I'm saying or not. But I had a beautiful opportunity to practice this morning. As I've said, in Queensland, it is very wet right now. And there's a few things sort of been bubbling in my world. I have had just a light, open, general desire to upgrade a bit of a level of myself and find a new mentor perhaps to work with, or just to have someone to hold me in myself and my soul self to take me that little bit deeper. It's been a while since I've worked deeply with a mentor, and I've been doing a lot of teaching, a lot of holding space for my tribe. And as you would know, if you're a leader and a teacher, we always need our own mentors. And I have a couple sort of loosely at the moment, but I was looking for something to take me deeper for a little bit. And I was holding that lightly. I had no particular specifications around that, except that they had to be able to hold me, right, in the way that I wanted to be held. And then we've got this very wet weekend suddenly coming up, and I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to do with myself this weekend? I really feel like I want to, get out there and do something. And I was co-creating a kirtan tonight up in the hinterland as well with some dear friends. So I had a couple of little things on and a couple of little, like I say, the rain, and there's a little bit of a desire to do something. And then all of a sudden, of course, the kirtan gets cancelled because a few of us are looking like getting rained in. So there's a little bit of a gap and spaciousness opens up. It looks like it is going to continue to rain, so I'm probably not going to get out there and do any hiking. It's a different kind of hiking I'm looking at doing. There's some hiking going in. And I jump on Facebook to answer a message and check my tribe's posts that they put in our Facebook group. And I see a little post pop up from a friend of mine who I've done some business coaching and work with in the past. And I see an event this weekend that is coming up around some work that I'm actually really curious in. I've sort of touched into. I have some facilitators that are trained in this that work with me. And it's a process that I play with, and I would really quite like to go deeper in, but I hadn't really considered it. But here it was, right here, right now, for the next couple of days to go deep while it's wet and I've got nothing else to do, and it is right there in front of me. So I have an opportunity, good morning Tina, to jump in and grasp that, even though it wasn't something that was like fully in my field of awareness before it arose. I could come into it with, oh, it's tomorrow, I'm not ready. You know, what other obstacles could come in? I mean, they weren't obstacles that came into my mind, but obstacles could come in of, oh, well, I'll be taking up that whole weekend. What is the rest of my family going to do? It is also going to take up the Monday. So I did have a little thought of, well, I have a live training I'd normally be running on a Monday for my tribe, but I can actually pre-record that. So that's not an issue. I can do that. I have an Indonesian class on Monday, but no, I can cancel that because actually she had an appointment and it had to change anyway, right? Can you see how our mind could hook into potential obstacles that you're not ready to jump immediately into something that feels open? Equally, we don't want to jump and just grasp at every bright, shiny thing that comes along. So I have trained myself to sit with things for a moment and to see what the energy is there, rather than just jump in, because we don't want to also have things that the mind is grasping hold of or the mind has an aversion to. We want to make sure that it's a soul-aligned desire, right? So all of these little things happen to create this space to open up, the mind's relaxing, and actually the obstacles are starting to fall away. There really aren't any. And as I'm sitting with it, yeah, the bubbling is there, the desire is there, the magnetism and the draw towards is there. And that is the feeling that I've come to know as my soul self going, hell yes, it's a yes, right? And so I'm all in. I haven't actually booked in yet, but I'm going to. So I say this because so often something will come along, and it's often last minute. In fact, the more you go deeper with this soul-aligned work and start listening so deeply to yourself, I find things move quicker and quicker and quicker, right? Things come in quickly. You have a decision quickly. Do I want this or don't I? Good morning, Susie. And if we prevaricate and procrastinate, that opportunity is going to pass us by and someone else is going to grab it. Or what I've seen before is that idea is going to pass us by and you're going to see someone else doing that idea with maybe even the name of the thing that you came up with, but you weren't ready to leap, so someone else grabbed it. There are things in the universal consciousness that are sort of floating around, ready for anyone to grab, and there are some things that are just for you. If it is meant for you, it may not miss you. You've probably heard that phrase, what's meant for you won't miss you, but it might take another few years to take the lap around the sun to come back to you, right? Because if you aren't ready, if you aren't open in that moment when an opportunity is arising for you, then it's kind of like your soul self is like, oh, okay, right, they really need a few more layers to fall away before they're open to receive that. And that's perfect, because we can only receive so much at any one time. But be aware when someone comes into your world, when something comes into your world, if you feel a bubbling up and a pull towards and you shut it down, it's going to be uncomfortable for you for a while, right? Because your soul self is, here it is on a plate. I'm giving it to you. Yeah, and if we come up with all of those obstacles, that is kind of what creates pain and discomfort. And I see people all the time doing that. You know, at some of our small events, our little intro events, when I just get to work with people for a small amount of time, I see them come to a decision that's a full-bodied yes in their soul, in their physical, in their energy. They're like, yes, 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 I'm on board for this. This is a yes for whatever it is. And then so quickly, their mind shuts it down with obstacles and resistance. And yet their soul is like, it's a yes, I'm there, I can see the opportunity. And the mind comes in and shuts it down. That is our biggest obstacle, yeah, in this life. And our biggest gift at the same time is, the power of our mind. But it creates so many obstacles and so many resistances for us. You have to get to a point where you fully are a heck yes for listening to my soul self, no matter what, and get really good at discerning between your mind and between your soul self. So that's the tricky bit, I think, that most people get caught up in, is you can't differentiate between what is my mind throwing up obstacles, giving the old judgment talk, being in the fears, morning Janelle, and what is my soul self. And for me, the mind is manipulative. It will come up with all sorts of reasons not to, or all sorts of reasons to go in this other direction. It has manipulation there. It is trying to persuade you. It is coming up with all of these obstacles or shoulds. The soul self is pretty quiet, which is why we can miss it when we're getting caught up and we're listening too much to the mind and letting the mind create momentum and this great big train of carriages and reasons not to or to. And so the mind is manipulative. The soul self is much more present. It doesn't have to persuade you. It just quietly sits there with that knowing. And the feeling of being in your soul self when there's a decision to be made is there's a pull towards, and it's a rising energy. So it can have excitement and that draw towards you, but it can also have the flavor of fear, right? Because excitement and fear are so close to each other. So it's a quieter, the mind is less quiet, it's a feeling, it often has a bubbling up, it's excitement, but it might be also fear. And you will find that your mind has something to say about it because it's like, oh my gosh, right? Mind wants to jump in. So be aware of that difference. And I'd love to hear if any of you have a way that you can feel the difference in you of when it is your mind and when it is your soul self. The soul just knows that it knows. It doesn't have to persuade you. It knows the time will be ripe and right when you are open to receive that message. And all these little collaborative components come in. You know it's the right action when all of these little things just suddenly start to open up. Like, I had a client cancel the day after this event that I'm going to be doing this weekend. So that gave me the space for integration afterwards. This event was cancelled tonight because we're all flooded in. It's going to be wet all weekend. Sometimes it's just there. It's so easy, right? Joanna, I love the thought of sitting with it to be more aware, to differentiate my soul self and my mind. Yes, the mind is manipulative, right? So many times your mind gets set in excuses not to go forward with a decision. Absolutely. And Joanna, you're going to be on this training with us this morning. We're going to go even deeper into this. Because once your mind gets set in excuses, it's hit a limiting belief that I am not this. This is not for me. And it's so concrete. Your mind really believes it's real. And we have to dig away at that, And when it is concrete, sometimes we need a jackhammer to get to the truth of what is underneath that and understand where these limiting beliefs have maybe come from. Are they true? How are they trying to keep us safe? And do we need that? Because safety is within us, right? It's not external to us. So there really is no risk, but the mind perceives a risk. Yeah? Such a juicy area. So if you are struggling in this area, if you really struggle to discern mind and soul self, if you have struggled to really feel, because when we shut down feeling, when we shut down through our busyness and through our days and our works and our shoulds, it's very hard for us to learn to feel initially. And this is my key area and niche of expertise. So do reach out to me and ask about any of my half-day events that I have coming up, because this is some of the work we do in our foundational area to help you find center in you so that you can feel the truth, right? Feel what is for you and what's not for you, to get clarity, to have more energy, to stop that competing in your mind, and to gently deal with those doubts and fears. So we have some half days coming up, Brisbane and Beachmere at the moment. Tina, if you're with us, just pop that link on below and you can reach out to us. So let's just have a look. Janelle, listen to the soul quietness and feel the softening of the sound. Be aware is when you connect and your day flows. Your mind holds back. Go with your heart. It's your gut feeling. Yes. So I think there's a few little typos in there, but yes, your mind holds you back. Your heart and your gut feeling. So the gut feeling comes from a nervous system connections that we have in our gut. And some of the work we do is around connecting in with that and connecting in with the energy of womb space and the sacral chakra, which connects to the heart. And this really has a beautiful connection of informing you of what is really for you, that deep intuition, that deep feminine gut intuition. and the heart to express that. And this is a moving forward energy, right? Not I have to lean in and grasp it, but it's a magnetic drawing forward. And you are held, right? But your mind holds us back, or actually it's kind of more the front mind holds you back with obstacles, reasons not to, and all of that. Yeah. So yeah, my beautiful assistant Tina has just popped on here below the link for anyone that is interested in joining us for a half day where we teach you some really embodied feminine tools around getting clear, around feeling the truth of yourself and getting out of the mind, getting out of all the fears that create all of the suffering and obstacles, and lengthen this path to your enlightenment and the expression of your highest self. Hello, beautiful Amanda as well. All right, gorgeous ones, I'm wrapping that up for now. Do feel free to just pop any comments and questions down here below, and I look forward to seeing those. Take care, everyone.